Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So with my last how to make your home look amazing video, a lot of you guys really loved that video. So in today's video I decided to share some tips on home improvements, guys. And let me just start off by saying that by this time last year, or 2 years ago, I would say that my home was a total wreck. Like, if you follow my channel, you guys, you would have seen the progress, we've made with renovating our space, just making it look somewhat decent. We've gone through a lot of journey. We've renovated some of our, space, and we are also constantly renovating. So we are not done. I would say upstairs is almost done. That is why most times you guys always see me kind of film up here, like in the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom, the hallway, because like we started from the bedroom and then we moved to the kitchen, to the living room, to the hallway. Right now we are actually waiting for probably a few months, maybe in 3 months, we're going to be renovating our master bathroom. And then after that we're going to go downstairs. So renovation is something that takes time. It's not something you're just going to do 1 2 3 and you're all done. And for me though, I absolutely love it, because what is probably your taste right now is not going to be your taste in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year. So you will notice that you would always keep on renovating and improving your space. My very first tip, I would say, whenever I enter a space or a home, the very first thing I always look at is the painting, guys. Painting plays a very big and huge role, when it comes to your home improvement, your home renovation. I feel like if where you're renovating is not painted, you're not going to be able to really see the potential of that space, you guys. So painting is very important. That is why I made it #1. You would notice that sometimes when you go into a space and the space doesn't have kind of maybe the color you want, first thing that comes in your head is, this I'm going to paint it, this I'm going to paint it, that I'm going to change, the color. Painting is all about changing the color. So take for instance right here in this living room I'm filming right now, guys. Few years ago, this living room wasn't all white, and for me personally, I'm obsessed with all white home, guys. There's just something about all white home that I can't explain. White actually makes a home look it makes a space look larger. When you have a space, maybe you paint a space green, or you paint it gray, or you paint it red, or you paint it any color at all. Once you go ahead and repaint that space white, you will notice for some reason that space automatically kind of doubles in size. White, painting a space white kind of gives it that expanded look. That is just one thing I love about white. White just makes everywhere look much more bigger and larger. So of course when it comes to painting, it's either you go with your regular paint, the one you apply with a roller. Actually, I wasn't really I didn't know how to paint before, but of course when I started renovating my space, I had to learn, because sometimes hubby might be busy, and you guys know with men, you can't just wait for them for everything. They always take their time, but meanwhile for a woman, you want it done ASAP. So I decided to learn how to paint from hobby. So yeah, painting is very important when we're talking about home improvements, because it just helps to transform that space. And throughout the time we were renovating this home, guys, I was busy taking clips and videos. But something terrible happened to me, I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had an emergency, with my hard drive, and I lost all my files for the year. So I was documenting all our home improvements and everything, and yeah, unfortunately I lost those clips, especially when it comes to the color we had in this home before we decided to start painting it and renovating it. All those clips were in my hard drive and I lost all the files. Why I'm saying this is I will try as much as possible to maybe look for similar pictures on Google to show you guys what I mean, with all the few steps I have here. I had my original clips, but they were all destroyed with my hard drive. But anyways, guys, so when we're talking about paint, it's either you go ahead and spray paint. If you're not used to using your roller to paint, you can easily also use your spray paint. Spray paint is actually very easy. You just shake up the can and just spray whatever it is you want to paint. We have the glossy, we have semi-gloss, we have matte, but personally I absolutely love matte paint because there's just something, I feel like matte paint always helps to hide it helps to hide dirt, it helps to hide any imperfection on your wall. So especially if you have kids, you know how sometimes kids can maybe color on your wall, they can apply crayon or paint on your wall. For some reason, I always feel like matte paint hide a lot of imperfections when it comes to your walls. When we started to renovate this space, all the area, you know, like the hallway, I remember was kind of yellowish, yeah, it was kind of yellowish off-white, so we decided to just paint it white. So when it comes to painting, you can paint your wall, you can paint your door, you can paint your cabinet. I remember even in the kitchen, our kitchen used to be this very ugly brown paint, you know, the kitchen cabinets, but we decided to paint everything white because, like I told you guys, we're just obsessed with white. Actually, I wasn't really into white before. Hubby was actually the one that was into white. Like everything, he would just tell you, paint it white, paint it white, paint it white, paint it white. And before you knew it, I just started to love white. And yeah, most of the areas, most of the spaces we have here are all painted white, and we absolutely love it. So painting your home actually adds that very nice freshness to your space, you know. There's just something about just applying a fresh coat of paint. It just kind of elevates your home. It just makes it look fresh. It makes it also look brand new. Like if you want to make everywhere look new in your home, I would really suggest thinking about painting those spaces. So, I would say this next step or tip is actually something that a lot of people are into these days, and it's all about maybe using trims, using borders, or using molding. And what I mean by that is, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, or I will probably show you guys the one in the hallway. You know how a wall is just a wall, you know, it's bare, there's nothing there. But now these days people are just used to putting some borders or some molding or some trims, you know, on, you can put it on your door, your wall, anywhere at all, your cabinets. And when you go ahead and put molding or trim or borders, you know, on those areas, they kind of give them some type of character. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to bring my camera closer so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This molding, my husband actually did it, and it kind of made the wall, it gave the wall a lot of character, which I absolutely love. And also in our bedroom, you guys, if you follow our home renovation journey, you would remember that our bedroom used to be just a plain wall, but then we decided to put some 3D wall panels, and that automatically changed that space. Like it changed our bedroom a lot. So I really consider you looking into adding some trim, some borders, some molding on your wall, and like I said, you will notice a lot of, you know, improvements once you go ahead and add that. Like it's gonna elevate that wall, it's gonna elevate that space, and kind of but make it look as if you put in a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions in your space. And yeah, all these improvements I'm talking about, they are very affordable. Like you can go to Lowe's, you can go to Home Depot, just ask them for molding, or even shoe molding? I think that's what it's called, molding or trim or borders. It's all over the place. They are actually piece of plants, you know, that they just measured in different sizes, and you can just buy them. I believe a whole big roll of it is like maybe $6.99 or something, and you can just use it and design your space. And by so doing, you will notice that you're adding a lot of value, a lot of improvement to that space. Of course, when we're talking about home improvements, guys, when we started to renovate this home, actually this is also one of the things that really pained me when I lost my clips, or when I lost my videos on my hard drive, because a few months ago we decided to change up the tiles, you know, and kind of the flooring in this particular space right here. And we used to have this very old, dingy floor, but I would always, you know, advise, if you have few extra coins, or if you have, you know, few extra budget, I would seriously advise that you look into improving your floor, because floor, actually your floor and your wall, you know, and your paint work hand in hand. So my third tip is going to be maybe your tiles or rugs. It all depends on which one you want. But yeah, we decided to, you know, just change up the flooring we had in our space, and you guys, it kind of added a lot of character. Like, it just helped tie the whole space together. So I would seriously advise, you know, you look into, maybe if you don't really want to spend that much, you know, on your floor. Of course, we had the hard floor, we have the tile floor, we have hardwood, we have the tiles, we have the vinyl. We actually, the one we have in our home right now is a vinyl floor, you guys, and it's so durable. It's very easy to clean. It's, you know, it lasts for quite a long time. Just changing up the floor in your home adds a lot of improvement. Like, we had a family friend of ours come by, I would say sometime last month. Immediately we opened the door, he was like, oh my gosh, like, what happened to your home? It was as if he was coming into a brand new home, but that was actually a home he's used to coming to. But because of the fact that we changed up few things, we painted, we changed the tiles, it made everywhere look really new. So that is, you know, one thing I would seriously advise. If you want to go ahead and improve your space, investing in maybe your floor actually is very good. But then if you don't want to do anything like hard floor tiles or vinyl floor, you can also look into rugs, you know, adding rugs to your space. There's just something about adding rug maybe to an open space in your home. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives it that very nice cozy, that very nice feel, you know, to that particular space. And when you come to my home, you guys, like my living room right here, we have a rug here, we have a rug in the kitchen, we have rug in our bedroom. Even though we have hardwood floor, you know, especially in our bedroom, in the kitchen too, we have the floor we just did. But still, I always love to add kind of a rug, you know, to my space, because it kind of keeps it really cozy. It makes it look kind of tied together. I feel like rug always make your space look uniformed, and also it helps tie everything together. We can also talk about lighting, because I feel like when it comes to lighting, guys, of course I'm going to speak for myself because I'm into content and creating. So I absolutely love some bright white light, but I know not everybody is going to appreciate a white light, guys. You can go ahead and use your, you know, your yellow light or your LED light, but I absolutely love some daylight looking lights. Like, light actually opens up a space, you know. You just notice whenever you go into a space and the space is dark, it kind of gets you depressed, it kind of gets you you know, kind of gloomy, you know, it makes you not to be happy. But then when you walk into somewhere that has a lot of light, it just kind of helps lift your spirits, it helps kind of make you feel good. So lighting is very important. And when we're talking about lighting, guys, of course we have the LED, like I said, we have the daylight, we have the natural kind of yellowish home lighting. It all depends on which one you want. But then even when we use, like here in my home, we absolutely love white, like bright white lighting, because like I said, we're always, you know, with camera, we're always filming and things like that. But even with that, adding some dimmable switch actually helps. So in a situation whereby you don't want a lot of light, instead of you to just have an on and off button, you can just go ahead and add a dimmer to your light. So that way, days or whenever you want that very bright light, you can go ahead and increase your dimmer to a very bright light. Whenever you want kind of a decreased or a slightly, you know, low light, you can go ahead and dim it. So that is just something I love about dimmers, because you can always adjust your lighting depending on how you want it. And then the fifth tip would be your curtain, guys. Like when we started to renovate the space, this particular living room right here, we only had blinds in this living room, and for some reason, of course, you know, like I said, it all depends on your taste, because I know a lot of people that just have blinds, you know, in their home, and they love it. But for some reason, when we only had blinds in this house, it kind of it didn't like tie it all together. It always felt like something was missing until we decided to add some curtains. As you all can see, like, we have really good drapes right here, and curtains actually also add a lot of bouginess. It also adds a lot of character to your space. So just imagine having a blind, and okay, it's a blind, it's just plain right there, but then maybe having a blind and then adding some curtains to your window actually just helps with a lot of, you know, improvements. It helps give that particular space as if you put in a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, you know, to that particular space. So I would really, that is why, like, when I was making my notes, I was like, you know what, I must have to add some curtains, because I started to see the beauty of this living room when we added curtains. Because when we only had the blinds, it was just like, okay, you know, there was nothing special about it. When we're talking about modern homes, I've always noticed that a lot of people love to work with, maybe they have a sheer curtain and also blackout curtain. So normally for me, what I love to do is to put some sheer curtain at the middle of my window, and then I have the blackout curtains by the side. And by so doing, you know, especially when you're working, I always like to keep my sheer curtains white, and then whatever color you're working with, if you're working with fuchsia pink, if you're working with green, with gray, you also have to consider your curtain rod. Your curtain rod always have to kind of blend in with your curtain. So my curtain rod is kind of ashy gray or silver color, and then my curtain is stone kind of light gray color. So with that, everything just blends. These are all like the little things you always have to look out for whenever we're talking about, you know, improving or renovating your home. And yeah, like I said, your curtain is very important. And my last and final tip is something I'm not sure if everybody is open to welcome, guys, but for me personally, I always feel like when you come into a home and the ceiling is just bare, you know, it's like, okay, like, it doesn't add any character to that, to your ceiling. Like, come on, you're giving character to every space in your home, so you don't forget your ceiling. And this is where adding a chandelier comes in, guys. I remember a few years ago, chandeliers were so expensive, but now if you go to Amazon, you can find a very mighty big chandelier for maybe $100, $150, you know. They are very affordable right now. But I feel like adding chandelier to your space, especially when we're talking of, you know, up, you know, your ceiling or, you know, your wall. When I'm talking about chandeliers also, we can talk about scones, you know. Scones, you can go ahead and add your scones to your wall. You can go ahead and add your chandelier to your ceiling, and when you do that, it kind of gives it that very nice modern look. That is one thing I've noticed that chandelier does to a space. I believe that is all there is, you guys. I decided to just, you know, film this video because I know, like, ever since I got into the home decor, home renovating content, I always get kind of a lot of questions for you guys. And of course, I'm still going to be treating, you know, all your questions, but for today I decided to kind of sit down and treat this one because I feel like these are things we've personally done in this house ever since we started to renovate. These are basically all we've been doing, just, you know, doing some trial and error. And yeah, I feel like I have a lot of authority when it comes to something like this, because throughout last year, this year, even next year, even next 2 years, by the grace of God, we are still going to always renovate. And yeah, guys, I hope you all found this video helpful, and please don't forget to hit that like button below and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And till my next video, I will see you all very soon. Bye.